It's time to turn the page in Major League Soccer. From the regular season to the playoffs and the postseason starts on Wednesday night at Red Bull Arena with the wild card round. New York Red Bulls hosting Charlotte FC, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Now, Dave, both these teams got in by the skin of their teeth, 8th and 9th seeds in the Eastern Conference. The New York Red Bulls, for most of their match against Nashville, were on the brink of playoff elimination for the first time in 13 seasons. But they got there thanks to a late penalty kick, and Charlotte FC knocked off Inter Miami with Lionel Messi to make their postseason run complete. Here's how the Eastern Conference stacks up. Your bracket has FC Cincinnati #1, top overall seed in the East and the playoffs overall, and they are awaiting the winner of this wild card game between the Red Bulls and Charlotte.
Yeah, these matchups are electric. I cannot wait for all of them. Should we just preview everything right now?
Why not? At a later date, let's focus on this wild card game. In the meantime, let's start with the New York Red Bulls. The entire season, New York's had one issue, and that issue almost bit them against Nashville.
This is the worst team now that qualified for the postseason in the Eastern Conference in the attack. They had the least goals scored, and they came into this Nashville game, and they controlled their own destiny. It was must win, which means you need to put goals on the board, and they struggle to do it throughout. They create chances, but they don't create high leverage chances, and so they're constantly playing around the 18. They're hopeful balls, trying to win 50-50s. Eventually, Luquinhas in this moment puts enough pressure on Nashville to earn the penalty kick, but it didn't look like a team that was going to create chances otherwise. And then surprising, they lean on homegrown, local John Tolkin, the left back, who is not a goal scorer, to take the penalty kick. And you see he's able to find the fans in the crowd. This is a team, as you said, that has now qualified for a record 14 straight postseasons, but this team does not feel like the Red Bulls of past that we've gotten so used to being an MLS Cup contender.
Yeah, John Tolkin, going down in Red Bulls lore, said, shout out to the haters after this match. We're in the postseason. Why can't we make a run? Well, there's a laundry list from Red Bulls seasons past, and Charlotte don't have that baggage, and they almost missed the playoffs entirely, but they found a way to shut it down late, and that's been the difference for them.
Yeah, all season they've been looking for goal scoring that wasn't Karol Swiderski, and Kervin Vargas takes this goal so well to open up the game against Inter Miami. That's his second goal of the week against Inter Miami. That's a huge development for this team. And for Charlotte, the storyline all year had been they were the worst team at holding leads. After the 87th minute, they statistically had the worst defense in MLS, and Christian Colina stepped up massive to help them keep this Inter Miami team with Leo Messi in the side at bay, and you could feel the energy the moment it was. You qualified for your first postseason in front of over 60,000 fans against Lionel Messi at home. There is no doubt about it right now. The momentum is with this Charlotte squad.
Prize is to head to New York for a single elimination game. Should this wild card match go to penalties, go to finish regulation tied, they'll go straight to penalties. No extra time. Now, these two teams have met twice in the regular season. Nothing between them. Draws in both games, 1-1 and 2-2. What do you make of this matchup?
Well, so this first matchup was all the way back at the beginning of the season. You saw the mistake from the Charlotte backline, but that was Nathan Byrne at center back. Andrew Privet has been one of the biggest acquisitions for this team. They've moved him up from their MLS Next Pro team. He has stepped in at left center back. On the other side, this blinder of a game from Ben Bender back in the summer in New York. He has been out with injury, so that's a big miss for Charlotte as well, but this goal is the one that's most concerning to me if I'm a Charlotte fan. It is a direct ball into the box. It's a 50-50 that's won by one of the physical center forwards that Red Bulls play multiple of, and that is where Charlotte struggles. And so you look at this game, it is a clear divide. It is a Charlotte team that struggles defensively, but it has decent attacking potential, and a Red Bull team that's one of the best defenses in the playoffs, and they cannot score. And what I worry about for this Red Bull team is I don't know that they have the pieces to take advantage of Charlotte's mistakes. Charlotte struggles in transition defense, but a lot of times that's your number 10 that takes advantage there. There's a Red Bull team that doesn't play with a true 10. Luquinhas and Omer Fernandez, maybe they come inside and the pressure falls on them. They've played with two center forwards over the last few weeks, and Tom Barlow and Elias Manuel, and those two do not connect at all.
You saw, though, recent form pushed both these teams into the postseason. Now, if you're FC Cincinnati with the 1 seed, who do you hope gets pushed into your first round matchup?
I don't think you want to see this Red Bull team. They're physical, they're tough. They played in the playoffs last year. They know each other. They have confidence. Where you look at a Charlotte team that maybe is a little bit green in playoff moments, I think that's a safer matchup, but I don't think either one is. Swiderski is one of the best players in this league. Red Bull's 14 years of playoff performances. They know what it looks like at this time of year.
A true toss-up. In the wild card round, to get the playoffs started in 2023, the New York Red Bulls hosting Charlotte FC. You can watch right here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Full coverage, pregame, as well as the wrap-up afterward. Enjoy the playoffs, everybody. The leaves are changing, and that can only mean one thing in Major League Soccer. Regular season is over, and the playoffs begin on Wednesday night. Sporting Kansas City hosting the San Jose Earthquakes in the Western Conference wild card match. You can watch it right here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So how'd these teams get in? Well, just barely. It took results on Decision Day, the final day of the regular season. For Sporting Kansas City, they jumped the line with a 3-1 win at home against Minnesota. And San Jose, well, they hung on for dear life. A 1-1 draw in San Jose for the Quakes. That got them up to 9th place and gives them a visit to Sporting Kansas City. Here's how that Western Conference playoff bracket looks as it stands. Sporting and the Quakes, one game, 90 minutes, straight to PKs if they need to, for the right to face the #1 seed, St. Louis City. And those first round matchups outside of that one, Dave, pretty delicious.
Yeah, it's going to be really contentious to see who gets through. Both these teams, I think, they believe if they get out of this wild card round, they can make a run at MLS Cup.
Remember, 3-game series in the first round, but this will be a single game, and Sporting Kansas City like their odds there because their season has changed.
They played like a playoff game on Decision Day. It was win and have a chance to get in, and they exploded out the gates. This season, the story for them has been about time. They started the year, they did not win in their first 10 matches, but they didn't have Alan Pulido, they didn't have Gadi Kinda. They brought in Rosero as the season went along, and the question was there enough games over the course of the season for them to make up the points they had to, and they were led once again by Johnny Russell. It's been the case in the past. He was waiting for the pieces around him to arrive, but this was the best we've seen SKC at the perfect time of year.
Big game players in a big moment scoring the goals that got Kansas City to the playoffs. Now the flip side for the Quakes, they were waiting for that moment from their big time players. Didn't quite get it in the final day of the regular season, and that led to some nervous moments.
Yeah, it's a different team, the San Jose Earthquakes team. Over the course of the last 4 games of the season, they were all 1-1 draws. This is a defensive-based team, and they were looking for a goal scorer in Christian Espinoza. He stood up and he elevated his game on the final game of the season. It looked like Jeremy Abobasi might as well, but I think when you look at this San Jose team and you talk about what they were trying to accomplish, more nervy than it had to be against Austin, and I think a little bit of frustration that they weren't able to take the game like we saw in some of these other games over the course of Decision Day and sort of put it away early.
Abobasi, shots on frame, shots off the post, just couldn't quite get it done. The form you see between these two teams in the last 5 matches, San Jose hasn't lost a ton, but they haven't won, and Kansas City started picking up points, and that drove them into the playoffs on Decision Day. Now, 2 matchups during the regular season for these teams. In April, San Jose won 3-0. In August, it was Kansas City 3-0.
It's the story of the season. San Jose came out the gates flying to start the year. They were a high possession team. They were able to create chances across their front 3. You see Jeremy Abobasi here causing chaos for the SKC backline. But a reminder, this game, it was just the second start of the year for Alan Pulido after coming back from injury. The early red card changed things against SKC. Now you go to August, and this is the change in the season. You've got Pulido, you've got Kindo. Russell starts to get some confidence. Shallowy starts to come back to the game we've seen. Eric Tommy has been elite as a chance creator, as that number 10 as well. And I think when you take a look at those 2 games, that's the trend of the season. SKC coming in here, home team, full confidence. They've been here before. San Jose, maybe there's a little bit of they've already accomplished what they were setting out for in year 1 of Luchi Gonzalez's time.
If you are St. Louis City looking at this bracket and watching very closely on Wednesday night, don't you want the San Jose Earthquakes? Don't have the firepower to keep up and don't have the form.
I understand your point, but if you're a club in year 1 like St. Louis who have already made history, you want your rival. You want to say, we own the Western Conference now. SKC, you are a thing of the past. This is our league. This is our time. And as a fan, Come on, a chance to bury your rivals when they think Peter Vermes saying the final day of the season, this is who we are, we're back. That's a chance that St. Louis, I think, is going to want to take advantage of.
Kansas City need to earn that trip down the interstate in the wild card match against San Jose on Wednesday night. 2 matches. The Eastern Conference starts us off at 7:30, and the West goes head-to-head at 9:30 p.m. right here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV.